things.
As a legal practitioner, Honorable, I am certain that you are aware that most rape cases get dismissed by the judge because of lack of evidence. How do you think this FAP Act law now will change the dimension?
That's what I'm saying. We have almost succeeded in covering all the leeways, all the loopholes that defense lawyers use, in ensuring that rapists escape justice. We have covered most of the leeways under this, the new law, and we also ensure that there will be constant training of prosecutors. In fact, we even direct the Ministry of Justice to come up with a unit, responsible for dealing with sexual assault cases alone. In such a way, if so is done, they will be trained and keep on receiving training. They will be experts in prosecuting sexual assault cases, because that is the only type of cases they will be doing. Totally, we advise the Commissioner of Justice to ensure that majority of the members of this team are women, because they feel the pain more than men. Two, the Commissioner of Justice will be able to keep track of all sexual assault cases. It's disturbing. The number is disturbing, and I assure you, even of recent, I think the Commissioner of Justice is doing well. He's very passionate about this issue. The Executive Governor too has given us the free will, the political will, and he will never compromise any sexual assault case, no matter what level or no matter what class the perpetrator belongs to. No one will escape justice, I'm sure.
So you mean currently, there is a sensitization ongoing in rural areas that once a girl has been raped or a boy has been sodomized, that the first thing the parents should do should go to a sexual assault referral center before doing anything at all, because
No, not sexual referral center. The police at the first office they should report the matter to. It is the police that will take them to sexual assault referral center, SAC center. It is the police that will take them there. One, and secondly, there's a serious sensitization that the mothers should not tamper with anything they see, except maybe after reaching the sexual assault center or reporting the matter to the police. And something happened of recent in one of the local governments here in the state. A woman witnessed a case of rape. One boy was sodomizing another boy, and she just looked to the other side and continued with her life. She didn't report the matter. After about 3 months, this same boy sodomized 2 of her children. And she went to the police and she was crying. She was saying that when she saw this boy doing this thing, had it been she reported the matter, maybe the boy would not have succeeded in sodomizing her own children. So she realized her mistake and she was bitterly crying. So the people are sensitized, and in fact the number, because they have confidence now. Even before, the reason why they mostly compromise cases or refuse to take the matter to the authorities is because of the fear of stigmatization, and also the lack of confidence they have in the judicial system. And we succeeded a lot in winning their confidence now.
So you are certain that the judicial process will be fast now?
Certainly. Oh. We are up to the task, one. And secondly, we are kind of like minds. My committee at the State House of Assembly and the Ministry of Justice, the Office of Attorney General, are working hand in hand. Mind you, our second most important function as legislators is the oversight function, supervising and ensuring 100% implementation of all policies and laws being made by the State Assembly. And I assure you that we will be up to the task. We will not allow them to compromise, we will not allow them not to implement 100% this VAP law 100% in the state. and we have the political will from His Excellency. And even the judiciary, we have right over see them and supervise them. So we'll make sure that they are on their toes.
So Jigawa State is not that vulnerable to political violence. But how do you think this VAP Act will help in political rallies and campaigns?
One, the punishment is stiffer now. The punishment is stiffer, and they know that the government will not tolerate such, because the governor is very passionate about reform, about cleaning the political atmosphere. He's indeed a real reformer, and he means business.
Well, as the chairman of the committee on VAP Act, what are the challenges you faced in the process of its domestication in Jigawa State?
So many.
Can you share
So many.
with us?
It was really hard. It was difficult. It was difficult. It wasn't easy, but I believe it is the price that we have to pay, because this is our legacy worthy of emulation. In fact, like I said earlier, the very day that this bill was passed into law, I said, even if I am to die tomorrow, at least I am contented. I know I have done something that I will be smiling inside my grave. I know I have done what I am supposed to do. One. Secondly, there is this misconception whenever such kind of things are about to happen in the society. One, those who are committing such offenses will gang up. Even if it is in disguise, they will fight the cause, because they know that at the end of the day, there will be no place for them to hide. Secondly, whenever there is a reform or change, our people are not, they don't really usually or easily accept changes. So there was this communication gap. Even though it was mischief by some group of people, they tried to create tension between us and the Council of Ulama, that we are trying to do something that is un-Islamic, and to the extent that some ulama started climbing their, what do they call it, the Mumbari, during Friday prayers, to call on the people that we are about to abolish Sharia law in the state. So many misconceptions, but at the end of the day, we stood our ground, we continued with what we were supposed to do, because we know we were doing the right thing. At the end of the day, we succeeded in winning them, in bringing them to our own side, and they reason to us. We see that all the misconception that is being said is totally lie, and it was purely mischief.
Honorable, tell us more. How did you manage to convince these people that this law actually...
It wasn't easy.
Tell us more.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, honestly. But we have succeeded.
Well, but what about from your colleagues? Did you face any kind of challenges from your colleagues?
Why we found it so easy to convince our colleagues was because when the bill was brought to the House for the first time, we invited the medical doctor in charge of SAC, Sexual Assault Referral Center, Dusi, one consultant gynecologist, Dr. Atawani. And he made a presentation whereby he showed so many nasty pictures of the victims of sexual assault in the state, small children, some as young as 7 days old. So it was heart-touching. Some of the members were even crying, shedding tears. So since after that presentation, I think all the 30 members were on board. They supported this bill, and even the Council of Ulama were involved even during the public hearing. But we can't call all of them. So those who were not invited, those who were not called, come up with this mischief and started spreading rumor and lies in order to, frustrate our effort. But alhamdulillah, it was a success.
As a legal practitioner, Honorable, I am sure that you, over the number of times, you've been following some certain rape cases, was there any rape case that got you tensed or got you into tears?
Yeah. There was this case that I am aware of. I think a 3-month-old baby was raped and infected with HIV, just 3 months old. There was also another case I have seen when I visited the sex center, whereby that one is devastating. 7 years old kid was assaulted sexually by his aunt, to the extent that he was infected and his stomach was so big, and when the boy was tested, it was realized that the boy was infected with HIV. There was also another girl that was raped in one of the local governments. I think she was 7 months old, whereby her anus and her vagina were ruptured, and it was an eyesore, honestly speaking. So we are living with monsters among us. These people are animals, and that's why we came up with this death punishment. They are not supposed to live among us. We can't be safe. Nobody is safe with these people. And what we also realized during the research or in the course of coming up with this law was that 2 factors do contribute to the rampant happening of rape cases in the state. One, all these fake spiritual leaders, marabouts, or what are they being called, this Bokaya and some, they do contribute, because they do advise people to go and commit rape with minors in order for the cure of one illness or the other, or for them to be rich. There was a case I saw. It was a 71-year-old man, and he raped a minor, 7-year-old girl in his farm. And when he was doing the investigation, he said that it was his spiritual consultant that advised him to go and rape a minor inside his farm, that he will have the best of harvest in the community. There was also a case whereby one man was also arrested for raping a 3-year-old girl, and his defense was that he was being advised to carry or to execute such an act in order for him to have cure for one hand, this local sickness, kankari, I don't know its name in English. That once he had a sexual intercourse and he used his hand in fingering a small minor, that his sickness will be cured. So we have seen so many nasty.
So how did you feel when you came across those cases? How did you feel, like in your body, in your heart? What did you feel?
At times you can't be able to sleep, because I am a father too. I have children, so I know the parents of these people are on their own, and it is inhuman. No right thinking person will be able to sleep without supporting or giving his support, for this law to come into place.
So whenever you came across it,
certainly it is. At ISOA, I would like to refer you to the SAC center at General Hospital. There is one of the staffs there, ABUBAKAR. I will direct you to her. When you go there, you will see the pictures, you will see the record, you will see how inhuman these people are.
I'm so sorry for that, sir. And I must commend you for standing up to see that this law has been passed. Well, how do you predict, would you like to predict rape cases now that the law has been passed? How will you predict the occurrence of rape cases in Jigawa State?
In fact, even now, from last week to date, I think the number is already dropping drastically because of the serious sensitization we had. I just cited an example of a case that happened in my constituency, to the extent that even his relatives were crying, because they believe that this law will be implemented 100%. There won't be any compromise. See, they already accepted the fact that at the end of the day he's going to be sentenced to death. This is the level of acceptance that this law has been.
So will the House consider other bills like the Child Protection Bill that was just domesticated in Katsina State, and also the process is ongoing in Kano State to be domesticated?
That particular bill is before my committee too. We have done first and second reading. So our court will be ready any moment from now, and we are going to do justice to it. We are going to make sure, we are going to give it all the necessary attention and the speedy passage that will give the violence against persons law.
So you think do you think Jigawa State will again supersede Kano State in the
Certainly, because this one will even be more easier, because all the difficulties we faced during the passage of violence against persons law are no longer there. We have already conquered all the challenges, we have solved all the problems, we have overcome all the frustrations. So this one will be easier.
I know in the Child Protection Bill, there is a law of right to education to children. And in northern Nigeria here, there is this culture of sending children to al-majority, as they call it. How do you see this? How will this law, this Child Protection Bill, affect al-majority, or how do you think it will protect children from being sent to streets to beg?
I don't want to preempt the committee's report, but I assure you that we do our best, and we are already working hand in hand with the association of the RMOMI, all this Democratic and Teacher Association in the state. We are working hand in hand with them, and we'll come up with a solution, and we'll come up with an acceptable solution, as to a solution that will be accepted by all.
Are there also plans of sensitization and awareness creation on the Child Protection Bill also?
Certainly, it has to.
So you are
because even even during the first reading of the bill, I cited an hadith of the Holy Prophet before the house that whereby the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was quoted to be saying, whoever doesn't sympathize or like children is not part of me. So I think what we are trying to do is trying to use this hadith as our foundation for protecting children. They need to be protected. They are the future leaders. They are the future of this country.
So you are certain me that in few months or few weeks I'll come back to Jigawa State and interview again on the passage of Child Protection Bill?
Certainly.
Well, we will see to that, Honorable.
Yes.
So do you think the VAP Act is enough to cater for all forms of violence against persons, especially the female gender?
Certainly.
It is enough?
It is enough, because all type of violence against persons are being taken care of in this law, and the punishment are stiffer, including the female genital mutilation. It is now a crime, and the punishment is stiff now, and we intend to have what we call a town hall meetings. And I think from next week we'll start visiting the 5 areas we have in the state. We will go to them and we will sit with them, with their council, and we will sensitize them, and thereafter we'll go to the local community, we'll go down, and we'll be organizing what we call town hall meetings, whereby all the associations of the drivers, the female associations, even these traditional ones that used to carry out the female genital mutilation, will be involved. We sensitize all category of people in the state so that they will be on board, and at the end of the day they will avoid committing such offenses.
What is the rate of female genital mutilation in Jigawa State?
No, it's not that high. It's not high, because it's not even part of our tradition. I've never seen, I will be 40 in June this year, but I've never seen a girl that was mutilated or that was circumcised in the state. So I think it's alien, it's not, but we include it in the law in case some people try to do it, or even maybe. And one thing about the law is, once you are residing in the state, you will be governed by this law. So maybe even if it's your culture, from where you come from, once you are in the state, it's prohibited. You can't carry it, you can't apply it.
I would love to keep having this conversation with you for many hours, maybe even till tomorrow. But I will have to let you go now because of the time. I don't want to keep you waiting, and I know you are a very busy man.
And I'm enjoying it. You can see I'm enjoying the discussion because this is something that I have passion for. This is something that I take so serious. This is something that I take as a personal mission. You know, and as a lawyer and a politician, you know, talking is my profession, so I can spend the whole day talking.
Well, congratulations once again, Honorable, for joining 20 other states in investigating the violence against persons.
Thank you, you are welcome. And I assure you that you will become one of the first 3 or the best 3 in terms of implementation.
I'm hoping for
Yes.
that. And I'm certain that I will come back again and interview you on child protection bill. I'm hoping to see that the Jigawa state is also one of the first in investigating the child protection bill.
God willing.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.